Have you ever like questioned your personality almost, or like the way you like challenge things?
Especially going through like beauty school, all the salons I worked at a long list of salons because I always pushed back. I felt that like I could do things without the rules, and like what about me wearing red Vans is going to cause me to work differently. And so that's where I would always push back and like get in arguments with my salon owners. And I would go home and my husband would be like, okay, well, you don't have to do this. You could own a business.
Hi, and welcome back to Low Key Not a Podcast. I'm Amanda, and today I have Courtney with me. Me and Courtney met at MOPS, or it's known as Momco now, and I feel like we just like instantly connected. It might have been because we're the only ones in our 20s. But I feel like we really connected over just like being business owners and just living those like chaotic lives.
I was just about to say, being chaotic.
Yeah, we live in major chaos and we love it. So, Courtney, I'll let you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I am a mom of two cute babies. I have a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. I am a military spouse. So my husband has been in the military for about 12 years, and I solo parent while he goes on deployments. I own a hair salon. So I've owned the hair salon for how many years? 4. Almost 5 years, I think. And I've been a hairstylist. I've been in the industry for about 8.5, almost 9 years. So I think that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like a fun,
chaotic world that I live in.
No, I love it. But so there are a lot of reasons of why I wanted to have you on my podcast, because I don't even know if I really like told you a whole lot about it, but it's basically that I wanted this to be like a space where people could just like not have it all together and hopefully listen to people who like don't have it all together, but they're figuring it out as they go and maybe relate a little bit. But I thought it was like so cool how you're a military spouse, you're a mom of 2, you have a toddler, which is like everybody knows is the chaotic phase.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And you went to a mom group on your own. You've just recently started to go to church. I just thought everything about your life was just like so cool and so relatable.
Thank you.
But, so tell me a little bit first to start out of how did you get into doing hair? What made you like want to go down that path? And then also, how do you own a salon at 20? You're 26, right?
Yeah,
we're the
26.
same age.
Yeah.
Okay, so 26.
So I turned 26 in June.
Okay.
So I'm like, 26 and a half almost? But no, so I started beauty school in high school in my sophomore year. And so like freshman year of high school, you go through like different field trips to like look at the beauty school basically. And I went, it's a tech school. And so you get to see 3 different classes: cosmetology, culinary, and pastry arts. Those were my 3 because I was like, every way that I could get out of school, I wanted to. And so this is the perfect field trip. This is the perfect day for me. So I could get my hair done. I could eat lunch and then have a snack to end the day. It's like the perfect day, right? Yeah. And so I did all of those. And the cosmetology teacher, she just kind of like sat in my head, just being like, if you don't like this, if you sign up and you don't like this, you could always change. I was like, oh, you're not wrong. Like, you're right. And then the pastry arts and culinary arts teachers, they didn't really like stick with me. They were kind of mean. And that's also just the vibe of like the food industry. And I didn't love it. So I like the idea that she was like, well, if you don't like it, you could always change or like not come back. And I was like, that's what I need in life. I need something that I don't have to like feel stuck in, Because then almost whenever I don't feel stuck, then I explore that more and I'm like, I do better at it almost. I throw my whole self into it because I know that if I hate it, I could get out. So my sophomore year of high school, I started that and I like canceled all of my extracurricular activities and I threw my life into doing hair. And I was like, well, I hope this is what I like.
Yeah.
So I ended up graduating from beauty school in February of the year that I was going to graduate high school. So I graduated like beauty school a couple months earlier. And because of that, I was able to start working full time in a salon. So I'd go to school in the morning, like actual high school from like 9 to 11:30, and then I'd go work the rest of the day. So I was 17 because I graduated at 17 and I was working full time. And then I was going to high school for 2 hours and I would be like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like it's such
I feel like I feel like high school and like college are like that. You're like, what am I doing? Like, I feel like in college, I was literally like, it's like, so college and high school are opposite. High school, it's like your last year is just like completely pointless, in all honesty. And then in college, the first 2 years of your life, you're relearning everything you just went through high school, these pointless classes. You have to do all these stupid classes.
And I felt like that last year of my high school was even more pointless because I literally was licensed in my career. Like, I was 17 in my career. Why am I in high school doing all this crap that I don't need to know? It's just like, it was so hard. I was late like 40 days in a row and I got an in-school suspension over it. But my dad was thankfully very helpful and kind of like stood his ground. Like, it's fine. Like you're doing what you need to. And so me and him fought a little bit about like me going to college. But I just didn't really feel the need to go to college. So I graduated high school and I got a full-time job in a salon. And from there, I moved salon because I had a lot of toxic bosses. And also like the moment they made me feel stuck, I was like, I have to get out. I cannot deal with this. Like, I already knew I was in not a great environment and I wanted to get out. And then they're like, no, you have to stay. And so then I'm running the other way. I can't handle hardcore commitment. It's too hard for me. So I moved around to a couple salons. And then I found a salon I stuck at for a while. And then COVID happened. And so I was off work for a while. And I was like, where do I want to take my life? Where do I want to go? So when COVID was done, like lockdown was done, we were in lockdown from like March until we went back into the salon, I want to say like mid-June. And once I was in the salon, was like, I hate being here. I hate following the roles that my boss laid out for me. I remember I one time wore like red Vans and I got yelled at to go home and change my shoes. And I was like, these are cute. What do you mean? Yeah. And so it was just like the roles and regulations. I was like, I can't be here anymore. So that October, I like came home to my husband and I was like, I want to move into a sola. I need to do something on my own. And so we signed me up for like an LLC and a sole proprietorship, and we got my like fictitious name and we did all the business things. Well, then the salon owner found out about that and decided to sue me. So I went through a little bit of a lawsuit due to all of that, which was just like more chaos in my life. And so I opened my sola the week of Thanksgiving in 2020. And I was like, I'm going to work by myself for the rest of my life. There's no way I will ever work with anyone else ever again because I just can't do it. And then 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant with my son. And I was like, cool. I just opened a business and now I'm pregnant. What happens whenever I'm on maternity leave? Who's going to pay my bills? Like, I don't know anything about this. Like, I know that I work and I pay my bills and I make a profit, but what about whenever I'm not working? Yeah. So then I hired an assistant, and that's kind of like where my life went down the line of like, well, I may as well make this a business and make this profitable. So one day that I like don't have to work and I can have a little bit of an income from something that I enjoy. And then if I want to do hair with a client here or there, like I can go in and do hair, which like I really love. So I don't think I'll ever like fully retire from doing hair, but I do like the idea that I am flexible to step back because I have grown now and I have 3 girls working for me. Yeah, that's awesome. In no way in 2020 did I think that this was where I was going to be, but hey.
It's good. Like, that's like the cool thing I think about like our world now is I feel like so many people get almost like intimidated by like social media and like different like that. It's not like the world's not structured like it used to be. And it like almost like aggravates like our parents' generation because they're like, well, we had to do this and we had to do that. And then they try to like force it on us. And basically our generation is just like, no.
I am very like go with the flow with my life because finding like the stress or or even like how parents are supposed to be like, well, you're supposed to do this and well, you're supposed to do this. It's just like, I don't want to. The moment you're telling me what to do, I'm not going to do it because I want to be able to just like feel where my life is going and go from there. And I think that's how I have like honestly benefited in life is because I can so calmly go about life. And if something like tears me down, like my plumber bill I got over the summer.
Yeah.
Tore me down temporarily, but I can handle it and I can keep on going because that's just like the point of life. Like, yeah, that moment sucked, but also like it's for the benefit of like my business and everything is for the benefit of like my life and my family. So it's just like you have to like keep thinking of the positive of like going with the flow is a good thing. Going with the flow is a good thing. Like not always sticking with like olden day what's the word? Like structure. Yeah. It doesn't always work.
No, and that's okay. I used to be the opposite. Technically, I mean, not used to. I probably still am like that. Like my personality was always like, I got good grades. I was very competitive in high school with like sports and stuff. Like I went to a small school, so I was like one of the more athletic ones. And like now I like it's like funny because like I went to college and so I went to school that my graduating class was like 72 people. Wow. Yeah. And
I graduated with like 600.
Yeah, that's how my roommate in college was. And I thought our college was so big because I think it had like, I can't remember the exact number. I want to say it was between like 700 and 800 was like our class at Mount Union. And I remember her and she was like, well, that was just like the size of my high school class. Like, this is not big. Yeah. And I was like, what? Like, how do you know? Like, I grew up knowing everybody's business. Everybody knew my business. And I remember thinking like, oh, like I was like pretty athletic. And then I like went to like games there and I was just like, oh my God, like I'm so uncoordinated compared to these people. Like, what the heck? Like, but like I was very though, like it was like my parents told me I was smart. So it was like, I'm gonna go in the medical field because I'm really smart and I think that way. And I was good at chemistry and it was like, so then I like had to find something that like, because I was good at chemistry, like my parents would tell me like that's a gift, like not everybody's good at chemistry. And like I remember Matt, like I met Matt when I was 16, thank God, or I would be down a whole different rabbit hole right now, probably miserable. But and he was like, but he like showed me, he's like, you're like every company you worked for since you were 15, 16, you've always worked your way up the chain. And he's like, and like granted, you weren't like, you couldn't get a title because you were under 18 or you couldn't, but you're always like, you were a loyal employee. It was like, you always like, you showed up, you would learn these systems. And like even when I was 19, I was running a hotel because my general manager had like health issues and family problems and they had no one else to replace her. And my manager taught me everything and I just did it. I didn't question it. Like I just did it. I just worked because I was young. I wanted to work. But he was like, dude, you're like you have a different personality. It's good that you are like that. And I never had anybody like really tell me that because I was so like organized and so structured. And like now that I have my daughter, oh my God, I'm like the opposite. Like I've literally like I've taken like becoming a mom and like redefining, because that's already hard enough, like redefining your role. But like no, like I'm a completely different person. Like even my mom's told me like you're not the parent I thought you were gonna be, because I'm like so laid back. Like me and Matt just like we pick up and we go and we run and like we just our schedule's filled, it's packed, like not like packed, but like we do a lot, like and we're involved in a lot. Like I'm definitely like way more laid back than I was like growing up, and like even like as a kid, like I was so structured and so like I liked things a certain way and they had to be a certain way. But I almost feel like I got so many like not like disappointments, but so many like seasons of life where I was like, oh, this isn't how it turned out. This isn't how I thought it was going to turn out. That I was like, now I'm so laid back.
It's funny because like they always say if you have a boy first, it's because they're supposed to like bring you love more. If you have a girl first, it's because you have to like learn how to love yourself. And it's interesting how that theory sometimes actually works in real life. Like, because I had my son first, I truly feel like he has brought me so much love into my heart. And like, I just want to show him so hard, like how to love people in his life.
Yeah.
And same with Coraline, even though she's my second, like she has taught me like how I want to be as like a woman and a wife and a mother, and like how I want to be a good example for her. And I think like when you have kids, it's like, get rid of everything that literally happened in your life ever, because you have kids and everything changes, and they really do make you a new person, whether you want to believe it or not. Like kids will change your life. And I don't think I really realized it until like my son was probably 1.5 and he started talking. And then I was like, wow, I'm like actually making an impact in his life. And then you realize like, wow, I am a whole different person. And I thought I would be like a really structured mom, and I'm not at all. The only thing though I have to say that I will stick to is nap time and bedtime.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
I will never, ever, ever schedule something during those periods of time. I will always do my best to get home as close to bedtime as possible. Sleep is the most important thing. And that's like the only thing I stay structured to.
Yeah. I'm like saying with you, but like now that I think about it, I'm like kind of like it, like, but like I'll be like, oh, it's like it'll be like pushing like 2:00, and I'm like racing to get home because I'm like I gotta get her home for a nap. Her nap's usually like at 1:00. I do that a lot, and at night, like even we'll like push it. My mom definitely, I could tell like my mom and Matt's mom definitely like it stresses them out that we'll like push her bedtime. But at the same time though, like everyone compliments me on how adaptable she is.
Well, yeah, you have to be flexible sometimes, and that then creates a flexible child. So in a way, that's a good thing.
Yeah, we don't like completely miss it, but we do like we push the limit a little bit sometimes. But and that's like something that I feel like has, I mean, it's just our lifestyle. Like, and everyone's different. Like, because I feel like too, like I would never tell somebody like to go live my life, because I'm like, if you can't handle it, like don't do it. Like you're gonna be so stressed.
Exactly. Everyone lives their life a little differently. So it's just important to like note where you're at in life and where you're at in parenting, and follow your own figuring things out, and like stop comparing yourself to people online.
Yeah. One question I want to ask you while we were talking, I thought of it. I didn't even like, this was the one I had prepared, but I was just curious if you've ever had this happen, like where you've ever felt like someone's like almost like, have you ever like questioned your personality almost, or like the way you like challenge things, if that makes sense? So like how like you said like I wanted to be able to do this and I wanted to be able to do that. Like has anyone ever said anything to you, or have you ever been like self-conscious about like being that way?
Like being in the way of like how I want to throw my life, like in what direction I
kind of, or even like with like working for someone, like you almost like were like, it's almost like, why do I need to do that? Like I don't see the need to do that, or like I work the same no matter what I'm wearing. Or,
yeah, absolutely. I think especially going through like beauty school, and then all the salons I worked at a long list of salons, because I always pushed back. I felt that like I could do things without the roles, and like what about me wearing red Vans is going to cause me to work differently? Yeah. You know? And so that's where I would always push back and like get in arguments with my salon owners. And I would go home and my husband would be like, okay, well, you don't have to do this. You could own a business. Yeah. And he was really supportive of me having a business, and wanting me to have a business, and wanting me to set up the business in a way that I don't have to work. So he has been 1,000% supportive of it every single moment. So I think that was really helpful. But in the way of like family or friends or even online, I don't think I really ever received any pushback, other than like sometimes like for myself, I would be like, am I good enough for this? And even now, every once in a while, I'm like, my employees will text me and I'll be like, oh my, I'm so sorry. Like, I've totally forgot about that. And I'm so like forgetful, but it's fine because like not everyone's perfect, and you know, things happen, life comes up, and I'm dealing with like a lot all of the time. So I think over the past couple of years, I've learned to like really be easy on myself and like be responsible enough to like have employees and do the right things, but also understand that like life does happen and you're not going to be perfect every single day. Yeah. And I think like with that mindset, I I don't really like allow people's comments to bother me because it's my life and it's how I want to live my life, and
Yeah.
I don't really care what they say. And I think that's something that happens whenever you're online a lot, is people are like so deep in the comments section, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, comments are engagement. Please comment on my stuff.
Yeah.
Please engage with my
You
stuff.
have to have that mindset though, honestly. Like, because if you don't, like, we've, like, for us, like, doing social media for different people, and, like, we've gotten into doing more, because honestly, growing a personal brand is, like, usually people find it's, like, challenging to, like, you as a person, but in general, though, we've come to found that it's, like, easier to grow a lot of the times. And, like, our clients, like, they cannot handle, like, and they take it to heart, and I'm like, listen, I told you from the get-go, if you're gonna do this, you cannot. And trust me, I'm a person that I take everything to heart, like, because I always want to be, I never want to offend. I always, like, want to be like, oh, like, life's good, happy, like, be happy, like, but it's like, but people aren't like that. Like, they want, especially as a mom, like, I've come to know, like, I'll post things on my stories, and I'll have people comment, and they'll say, like, you should be doing this way, and you should be doing that way. And one girl I did kind of come at back, which she was correct. So I will come out and say it. I don't know if I can, like, I don't know if I can get, like, arrested for this, but I didn't know that, like, your kid turned around. I didn't know it was a law that they're not allowed to be turned around till they're 2.
Well, so it's different in every single state, but in Pennsylvania,
Yes.
they're not supposed to be turned around.
So I didn't know that. And she, like, commented kind of like a sassy emoji, like a sassy comment. And I got, like, I was just like, what? Like, I was like, I kind of got annoyed that she even messaged me that, first off, because it's like, why did you feel the need to, like, be mean? And then, so I was just kind of saying, like, hey, like, the way you, because she didn't say it was a law. She just came out and said, like, oh, like,
I think
sassy.
with things like that, it's like people are so chronically online, they see something like that and they have to, like, automatically be mean rather than assuming that you don't know and helping you.
Well,
and
that's what I told her.
Yeah.
I commented back and I said, you know, as a young mom, I thought you would understand, like, how these laws, like, it's not like I get a letter in the mail or an email or someone's like, hey, here's a better thing. When you're in the doctor's office, they don't give you a list of laws you're supposed to follow with your kid. Like, all they tell you is to not shake your baby.
Yeah, literally. They make you watch, like, 12 videos, like, don't shake your baby, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all we did in the hospital is watch that video. And I was like, hey, like, I'm sorry if I came across, like, kind of bratty, but, like, you came at me and you're meaning it in a mean way. Like, you were being judgmental, and you should have said, hey, here's an article on this. You probably don't know this, but like, and she was like, well, I meant it that way. I'm like, no, you did not mean it that way. Like, but from that situation, I've just come to learn that, like, there is, you know, we all want to be, like, moms for moms and, like, stuff, but it's like, life's not like that. There are people out there that for some odd reason they feel like their opinion is the most important opinion out there, and you're gonna hear it, and you know, you kind of have to, like, brush it off and just ignore it and just be yourself and look at it as, like you said, look at it as engagement, and, like, hey, now my post is gonna get, you just engaged with me, so now my post is gonna get pushed out even more, so thank you.
Exactly. Usually whenever I have, like, haters in my comments, I will just respond to them and be like, LOL, you're chronically online. And then it gets them even crazier, but it's just like, it's really not worth the argument. Sometimes I'll, like, fight back a little bit, like, for my own enjoyment, but never because, like, I actually need to win an argument. Like, and that's something, like, controversial topics online get you so high up there. And every once in a while I'll do it, but then every once in a while I'm like, you can't be controversial. Like, get your shit together.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree. It is, like, it's definitely hard. I definitely, like, one thing that, like, I definitely have struggled with, like, with social media and, like, running a business is, like, I feel like I always just, like, everyone just, like, looks like they're doing it so much better than me. And I'm
like I said,
like,
earlier, you can't compare. You
I
cannot compare yourself to other people online because it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Oh, I know for sure. The one thing that I do wish that, like, I love my parents and they did a good job raising me and my sister, and, like, I would never, like, bash the way they parented me. But one thing I think I definitely, like, want to instill in my daughter, like, as you were saying, like, our daughter teaches you to love yourself. Like, and that's the thing where I feel like Anaya, like, now I have Anaya, and it's really made me think, like, about how we, like, my parents growing up was always like, you got to make, like, it's almost like you cater to people, and, like, you have to, like, you have to say things in love, and you have to say things like this, but it's like, but if someone's, like, saying something wrong about me, like, that's not that it's not in love, it's that I'm correcting them, and what you're saying about me hurts, or what you're saying about me is not true. And, Like, that's the one thing I wish, like, I hope that me and Matt do a good job of, like, instilling in her is you're, like, you know who you are. Like, you know God created you. You're beautiful. Like, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Like, you know what you believe. Like, and you know what? If your beliefs change, welcome to adulthood. That's adulthood. Like, your beliefs will change through your entire life. Like, things like, even like to like, I feel like a lot of people, like, even with like Christianity and like growing up in church, it's like my view of God has changed every stage of my life.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
have viewed God differently, like each season of life. And like, I've seen different versions of God. And like, that's the thing that I think that like we don't do a good job of like openly talking about. And but like, I just feel like my parents were really very much like, okay, like at church, like you don't run at church, and hey, like don't be that what you said is disrespectful, when it's like, no, it wasn't disrespectful, they just didn't like my opinion. And it's like, if they don't like, my opinion is valid. And that's one thing though that I've always like, I feel like I always catch myself, like I have to like almost like turn it off. Yeah. Cause I'm always like, don't say that, like that could be like offensive, or that could hurt somebody, or like, is that loving? Like, and that's one thing like I really like, I like am trying really hard to get rid of right now, especially like owning a business, because everyone wants to tell you how to run a business because everyone thinks they can run your business better than you. Which I'm sure you hear all the time.
I literally have clients come in and sit in my chair and be like, this is like real facts, not my chair. One of my employees sat in her chair and said, I hate that wall color. Cool.
I know.
I don't care.
Yeah, we're not going to change it just for you.
It's my business.
Yeah.
And like clients will come, this lighting is horrible. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not your business. Thanks. If you don't like it, don't come here.
I know.
Like, really, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, people love, oh my gosh, we had a furniture store so Matt had a moving company with one of our friends, and they were getting like a bunch of like free furniture, or it was really cheap. They were getting furniture in like people's homes, and they were like doing nice houses in Pittsburgh, Wexford, Cranberry area. And so we were like, why don't we just like open a furniture store and like sell some of this since we're getting it for free? Like, so we rented a store, we rented a space, and every single person that came through that door had something to say about, well, you guys need to fill it more. You guys need to do this and you guys need to do that. I want to be like, excuse me, I'm like 22, like trying to figure life. I just got married. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, let me figure it out. It's okay.
Yeah.
But the one thing about running the furniture store that really made me mad was one time we had a guy come in, and I'll never forget this man. He always pops up as a recommended Facebook like friend request. They'll be like recommended. But he came in and he was like trying to sell us on like this marketing. This is how we knew we wanted to get into marketing. Was he recommended this like marketing stuff for us? And now, granted, me and Matt both have marketing degrees. Like, so we're sitting there and we were like, okay, yeah, we'll like meet with you. We'll talk about it, whatever. And the whole time he is talking to Matt, directing everything at Matt. And Matt is like, this is my wife runs this business. I just like am married to her and I help her and I provide the furniture. He's like, she runs it. And like, he still would not make eye contact with me. And I remember from that point forward, I tell people this story all the time, because I'm like, you know, like people think that like, because especially I like thought that that's like, I've never had someone like disrespect me so much like that and make me feel like, and it did make me feel like crap.
Yeah,
it
that's
was like,
horrible.
he doesn't think that like I can run this business. Like, and like I was 22, so I was like, what the heck? Like, then you doubt everything. Like, but I remember us saying like, you know, we're going to have a company that like, we value women and we understand that you run crap. But I just remember what a hit that was to my ego. Like, it was such a hard hit, like them, and like too, from that situation and on, it really made me like that. From when we started the marketing company, like at the beginning, I really hid behind Matt, because I was like, okay, well, everyone respects Matt, and like he can run a business and he runs it good. And that was like one thing that like I really like lately I've been doing better at like getting out and being like, no, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And this was my idea too. And like, not that our degrees matter, because we didn't even, when I was in college, we didn't even learn about social media. So we had a digital marketing class, and it was like about email campaigns. I remember being like, what is happening? Like, I like in the whole class, like, have you ever seen the thing with, it's like a trending reel, and it's, whose voice is it? Oh, it's Lizzie McGuire from A Cinderella Story. And it's, not Lizzie McGuire, Hillary Duff.
Okay.
And she goes, laugh out loud. Have you heard that? I literally,
Yes.
every
Yes.
time like I think of that class, that's all I think of is that sound, laugh out loud. Because I'm like, what? Like emails, yeah, they're like, we could send emails out, but it's like a whole class dedicated to like, it was like too talking about like this like old style like salesy verbiage on a website, which we, with the websites we do now, we don't even like the amount of stuff being taught now is completely different.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. But it's like so funny that like marketing, they like, instead of teaching you how to think and how to pay attention to trends, they teach you these old trends that you'll like never use like in your real life.
Yeah.
It was so funny to me though, but I was Lizzie McGuire song, it always gets me. But so switching gears a little bit.
Okay.
So tell me what it was like raising your kids with your husband. He was overseas, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he goes a bunch of different places. So he was gone last year. Last year was his first 90-day deployment. So they used to be 60 days, which was like live, laugh, love, happiness. 60 days is nothing. It gives you a break from your husband. It gives you it gives you a break from like the structure that you're used to, and it kind of like it gets you out of the like bad mental headspace. You know, you get in routine and then you get stuck in that routine. So it forces you out of that routine. And so last year was the first 90-day deployment, which was a little tough because Coraline was 3 months old when he left.
Yeah.
And then he's gone for 90 days. And then I was like struggling with postpartum. And I don't think I like really even realized it was postpartum until like halfway through the deployment. So it was a little more tough, but I do think it brought me out on the other side stronger than where I went into it. But it also like all of his deployments, every single time he's left, I think we in our relationship have grown stronger, and we as parents have grown stronger. And then even just me as a parent alone, I see things that I'm like, okay, this is the perfect time to change things. So while he's away, this is the perfect time for me to get in the routine of not being on my phone while in front of my kids. That's something I want to work on while he's gone. And I want to try to potty train my son while he's away. So when he goes away, I do like all the big annoying like things that like dads usually don't want to be involved in. And I'm not even saying that he doesn't want to be involved in it. It's just like the extra stress of another person having to deal with it. It's just like, so sometimes it gives me stuff to do.
Yeah.
And also I'm a very big like, my husband's gone, let's do a project type of thing. So I will like paint the house or like move my furniture around or put new decorations up or, you know, do a bunch of different things. So in a way, it like makes me more productive. And then also just because he's not home, I have like bedtime and like even the morning time before the kids wake up, I have more time to myself to like get my life together. So him being gone is like 90 days is a little too long for me, but it is a good reset on our lives.
Yeah.
And so he was on one deployment. I had just Connor, and then last deployment, I had both of the kids. And so this deployment, I'll have both of the kids. And I think this time it's 45 days. So it's a little less, which will be nice. And it will get us ready for when he goes away again in a couple months, which will be 90 days. So it's like a good prep for us. And the kids, thankfully, are very well attached to me. And like they love their dad, but there's nothing as good as mom.
Yeah.
So they are really like attached to me, and I usually do like bath time and bedtime anyways while Ryan cleans the house. So I will have to like do both, but also I have the bedtime space where like my husband's not home, so I can clean it and like not feel guilty of like wanting to spend time with him.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't know how I parent when he's away other than like I get it done.
Yeah.
Somehow. It just like, I really am just like, I go with the flow and I'm patient. And this year will be interesting because I'm a lot more busy this year than I was last year. So like Monday I have mops, and then Tuesdays and Wednesdays I'm working. And then Thursdays we have, it's called Chippers. It's like a little class that I go with both of the kids, and we do like a little preschool class. So really my only day off is like Friday. And the weekends sometimes. So I'm very busy this time compared to in the past. So I'm excited to see how this next 45 days go for us.
Yeah, it sounds. Does he like ever? Is it like hard for him to like miss like he probably missed like a lot of Cora's like milestones?
So I think it's in a weird way. I think it's easier for him to go now rather than like when the kids are older.
Yeah,
because those little milestones, and I don't know how it is with Matt, but like with Ryan, like it's not even that they don't care as much, but like he works full time every single day anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not that he's just not paying attention to it as much as I am. So I think it would be different if I was away during those times. I think I would miss it more, but he is okay with it just because the relationship that I think it would be harder for Connor because Connor wants to wrestle his dad every single day, and I'm not a wrestler. You won't catch me wrestling.
No, neither am I. So, I try, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm over this.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So I think that will be a little tough. I might have to bring out the boxing gloves for Connor. But I think it's easier for like a dad to miss the younger stages because they're not as fun and exciting and you're not missing as much. We're just like hanging out at home and doing our normal routine compared to like when the kids are like 6 or 7 and they're in like football or soccer and sports. And then you're actually missing like milestones and like activities that like they are actually remembering as well, because in this age until you're 4, like your kids don't really like have much memory of that. This is like time for you, so I don't think it's like too hard for him to go, which is a good thing to have. So
do you guys like get to talk to him at all? Or
absolutely, we have full cell service, and every once in a while like he'll have to like get a hotspot. But yeah, we could talk to him every single day as long as our schedules line up. And that's the thing. Sometimes like depending on the shift that he's working, the kids might be in bed the whole time that he's available to talk. So, but there's usually like 1 or 2 days that like we are confirmed, like we can talk. But other than that, like I can text him all the time and FaceTime whenever we can. So it's not like he's gone off the grid and we have to write letters. So.
Yeah. That's nice. That's nice about the nice thing about 2024. Like forgot what year we were in for a second. I almost said like 2020. But
I know.
Let's not go back to 2020.
No.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is like really cool. And then too, so kind of like towards the end of questions for you, but so you went to, I remember we met at Mops, and then you started going to like church and you got involved in church, and I remember watching like your reels of you reading your Bible, and I forget what that was called.
The Bible recap. Yeah. I have since stopped that.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, from watching your reels, I wanted to get it because I was like, oh, that sounds like so nice. Like for me, I need that. I actually ended up, because I was struggling with reading my Bible, I got an app that it like reads it out loud to you, and you can get I'm pretty sure you can get like devotionals, or like you can get like little like commentaries on like what you read, but that I got that I've been listening to because I felt so guilty because I'm like, I literally like have no time, and like my husband isn't away, so I have the pressure of like spending time with him, and it's like, or even though we work together, we still are like so separate during the day, and like, or we're like getting a task, or we're usually like, I'm usually nitpicking the crap out of him during the day that he probably doesn't really like me when we're working together. But so I wanted to ask you kind of like, what made you like want to start going to church from?
So Mary Beth, the leader of MOPS, or MomCo now, she invited me to church on Christmas Eve last year. And I was like, I almost felt like I had to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to keep seeing her every other Monday.
She'll know.
She'll know that I didn't go.
You heathen.
Yeah. So I went, and that service just like really spoke to me. And I was like, I'm going to keep going. And so then I have kind of been like flipping back and forth of like wanting to read the Bible and like wanting to get back into church, but then never really having like the point of effort into it. And so I felt like that was really like the perfect, like me being thrown into it. And so I was like, you know what? It's going to be the new year. Let's read the Bible chronologically in a year. Let's do it. Let's just throw myself fully into this. Yeah. And I read the Bible recap pretty much every single day until I want to say like April-ish. Then I got into like Deuteronomy. I think that's where I stopped. And it was just every single day I was reading the Bible, I felt like I wasn't really having a relationship with God. I was just like being forced to sit down and read the Bible because I was posting it on social
Yeah,
media.
it's like a duty.
It was like I had to do it. And I felt like me reading the Bible, I wanted it to be a relationship with God. And so then in April, we moved in with my parents because we were trying to sell my house, and then life got busy. So that was like the perfect time to like get rid of that activity. And so I stopped. And so now I just will pray to my Bible and open it up, and wherever my eyes send me, I read. And I find like that's the perfect way to read my Bible right now.
Yeah.
I find like so much scripture really like speaks to me in those moments.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm reading it right now. And then I have been doing TikTok lives where like just I will read a book of the Bible and we'll go through it, and then we'll do another one the next time. So we're like Bible studying John. And I like that because then I can get into conversation with other people who know the Bible more than me or know the Bible less than me, because I call myself like a Bible baby. I really know nothing. I grew up Catholic, and I feel like having a relationship with God was never really a thing for me whenever I grew up that way. And then, you know, you live your life, you fall out of religion, whatever. And now, so I'm back. So I'm trying to like learn everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I would say Mary Beth really threw me into church, and I've just been going every weekend since. And then over the summer, my husband started coming with me. So he comes with me now too.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's nice when you like are a team and like can do it together.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I love, that's like actually really cool too about like the Bible, because I feel like there's so much like controversy over like spending time with God daily and like what that means, and like reading your Bible and like knowing scripture. And like I used to always get intimidated because I'm like, was born and raised in church, and I never really like walked away from God. Like I might have did stupid things, but like I always like never considered myself like not a Christian and not having a relationship with God. And I always just remember the pressure of like needing to know scripture, and like that, like it's like, oh, like I don't know, I can't like cite it. And
well, yeah, like I don't memorize any singular piece of scripture, but I'll get there one day. And that's not even really what I want right now. I just kind of want to understand like my relationship with God and like the words that I'm reading and like where I'm at, and then go from there with things. Yeah. So, and that was a little bit of like what I thought like I might get pushed back online for, is like posting that like I am reading the Bible, because like last year at this time, if you would have asked me if I would be where I am today, like posting me reading the Bible, being on TikTok live reading the Bible.
Yeah.
No, not me at all. But you know, God does change lives, people.
Yeah.
And I am like living, breathing testimony for that. So
yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And I just love that like you understand right away that like you needed a relationship. It was about the relationship. And I do think that like God meets you where you're at. And I think that, I don't know, I just feel like, I don't know, I think it's like really cool just that you went to a mom group and you got invited to church, you went. And
I say all the time, like, Mary Beth changed my life. And she's like, well, no, God changed her life. And I'm like, okay, but you get credit too. Like, yeah, you're the one that invited me to church.
Yeah, she was like, I feel like too, like it's so like almost like cliche to be like, come to church with me, and like we almost get like intimidated by it now, or it's like not normal, or it's either you're like, oh, you're so pushy with church, or it's okay, yeah, like whatever. And I feel like her doing that was like her being obedient, and like
absolutely,
that's like really cool.
Yeah.
But my last and final question for you is, if there was a piece of advice you'd give someone who is just having trouble adapting through different seasons in life and just like chaos right now, and they just feel like everything's falling apart, they don't know what to do, whether they're a mom or not, what is advice that you would give them?
I would say, and this is what I tell my 3-year-old, so it applies to people of all ages.
Yeah. Love that.
Take a deep breath, and like a full deep breath. Take a deep breath and say a little prayer. Say, God, lead me where I need to be and give me patience. Yeah. That is what I've been doing for like the past year. And I feel like I have become like such a patient person, such like a happy person, such a relaxed person, like really just like, and if you don't pray, just take a breath. Take a breath and remember like where you are, and like ground yourself where you are in the moment of life that you are, and understand like everything takes its time and it's not going to be perfect right away. Yeah. So. No,
that's so good. I love that. And it's easy, simple, doable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like some people be like, okay, well, you need to do this.
Yeah, no.
So I think that was really great that you said that.
Yeah.
And I think that is good. It's a good reminder for me even too, because I feel like I get so chaotic and I just need to stop and breathe.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to thank you for being on here and coming down and talking and being vulnerable and sharing your life story.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people are going to relate to it, and it's very like, I don't know, it makes you feel like you're not doing it alone, and it, you know, it helps people feel normal. But, or you know what? I always say like my life probably helps people feel like they're more than normal because I'm like such a mess.
I'll come back one day. We can really deep dive my life. People will feel way more normal.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way. But yeah, so thank you for watching and make sure you subscribe and I appreciate it.